I remember hurting myself more when I got back because I'd wake up and I'd sit up really fast because I was dreaming some guy got shot and he was falling on top of me. 2011, I was sitting in the back of the truck where I always sat. I was tired that morning, trying my hardest to fight nodding off. "Doc, you sleeping?" And as always, I replied with, "Negative, Sergeant." But eventually, the gentle motion and the bumps in the route got the best of me, and for the first time, my head dropped down and I may have drifted away. It was at that very moment that I heard a loud explosion, the explosion we all feared hearing. As a combat medic, I can assure you there is no worse feeling in the world than hearing an IED go off unexpectedly. When I looked through the driver or TC window, I saw a large wheel and other parts from our vehicle flying hundreds of feet through the air. I stayed calm because I knew I had to be. I knew I had to be there for the soldiers I would soon be helping. 2-2 is hit. The first thing that came to mind was that my friend, Specialist Tippins, was manning the .50 caliber for 2-2. With my aid bag already strapped to my back, I jumped out of the truck and took off towards the blast site. It was a disturbing sight, seeing 2-2 in the shape that the IED had left it in. Sergeant K had advised me to stay back, knowing that there could possibly be more pressure plates in the immediate area. But as I had always promised my guys, I wouldn't hesitate rendering aid to my fellow soldiers. The truck was in an extreme angle, with the front end completely gone and the body of the truck angled into the blast crater. There was only one way to get the passengers out of the truck, and that was through the rollover hatches on the roof. I helped Specialist Gutowski, the one who's unfortunately no longer with us, shaken but appearing stable, on the rear roof hatch. Tippin's head popped out first, steadily dripping with blood. I grabbed hold of his vest and pulled him onto the roof. He wasn't able to stand on his own, so I carried him down the steep truck toward the lowest part of the truck and laid him down. I jumped to the ground, took him in my arms, and carried him to the stone wall where he was provided cover and concealment. I didn't waste another second to jump up and assist the others out. Once again, I was standing over the hatch. At this time, I carried Specialist Rivera, who was barely conscious and showing signs of a severe head injury, down over to the stone wall and laid beside Tippins. By the time I had set my two friends down, I knew that I was hurt. When I jumped off the truck, I couldn't feel my left foot and had a shooting pain traveling down my left leg. I kept Rivera talking to me while I had started to triage Tippins. I had already instructed Sergeant K to send up the bird with room for 4 patients, before I had even gotten any casualties off the truck. We ran Tippins and Rivera up the hill on litters. We placed Tippins beside my truck and Rivera beside the Buffalo. I trusted Sergeant Flores to continue with care on Tippins as I continued to work on Rivera. There weren't many people on the ground, so I took all 4 of my friends over to the helicopter. We loaded them all up, and there was still one more seat in the bird that I could have taken. I knew my injuries were serious enough, but I had to complete the mission. I walked away from the landing zone as the bird lifted off, leaving me in a dust cloud. I stood on top of the hill and the flight medic saluted me before disappearing off towards Fob Ghazni with my friends. I hadn't mentioned that I was hurt to anybody. I felt like I was better off than the others I had just treated. The other reason I didn't say anything is because Sergeant K and Captain Solon told me that I had done a great job. The last thing I wanted to do was disappoint them with the bad news of their primary medical asset having a possible broken back. People said, like, somebody said you're our hero, and I was like, no, I'm not. I said it straight up. I was like, no, I'm not. Any combat medic, any soldiers do the same thing.